Hello and welcome to Thav Exclusive. I'm your host, Natasha Brown. And on this episode, we'll be speaking with one of the frontliners in the media and entertainment space here in the city of Port Harcourt and also in River State. I dare to say on the national space as well. He is the creative head of Pixelate Studios. And don't go anywhere, stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome, Mr. John Alaye Briggs. Did I still get the Alaye right?
Yes, this time you did.
I always don't get those names right. I don't know what it is, and I'm so fully Nigerian. But anyway, so right into the interview. You are amazing on what you do, documenting events and lifestyle. I said, from passion, profit to big boy, and you said you're not there.
Not there yet.
Okay, so your backstory. What's your backstory to documenting events and lifestyle?
One of the things I'd like to put out there would be the fact that I initially had my background in estate management, but as time went on, I picked up a course in NIT, software engineering, which is the MMS Mastermind series, and then from then on, I joined the workforce in my church and I picked interest in media, and I practically did a lot of online courses and then a lot of YouTube, and we're here now.
And you've been doing this for over 8 years?
Yes.
And the funny thing is, like when you told me you initially studied estate management, I'm like, how does this correlate? what was the transition like for you?
The transition was, I'll say, smooth in the sense, because trust me, we can be anything we choose to be. You just have to put your mind to it and just tell yourself, I want to go for this.
Were you ever going to practice estate management?
Not really. Not really.
So you took it out
Though
of...
I still, on the side, I still do a couple of renovation projects here and there. I still get involved in property and all that, but it's not a full-time thing for me. It's now a side thing.
It's a side thing. But what you majored in is now a side thing, and now your passion is the main.
Passion is the main thing.
That's what almost Nigeria would do to you any. But I think anyway, it's also a thing of passion. Most of the time we go to school and we don't necessarily get educated in the things that we are naturally interested in, and sometimes as well we happen onto our passion. I think that's what happened to you.
Kind of. Also, education system here, our parents, they always want us to follow the path of the so-called successful, quote unquote, and they think to be successful you either have to be a medical doctor, engineer, or a lawyer. Anything outside this doesn't really stem success to them. But with the era we're in right now, you can succeed with practically anything that you're good at. Specifically, that you're good at, because you have to be good at it to excel in it.
So Pixelate Studios, tell us more about that. What you're into?
Media production, digital distribution. Media production, it encompasses photo, video, documenting events and mainly lifestyle. And then the digital distribution, we also distribute online social media platforms, and then digital signages, LED screens, mainly.
So primarily, we talked about this backstage, passion to profit, how some people, their work right now is that which they are passionate about. That's what gives them profit. But at the end of the day, we still see people say, you need to get the money. So if peradventure your passion is not yet hitting it and getting your profits, you need to do what is needed. And let your passion be just something you dabble in, per time. What do you have to say about that?
I think for your passion to grow, you need something to fuel your passion. Because before your passion brings or yields profit, it needs to grow to a stage where it can yield profit. Now, that time frame, you need something to sustain you. Either a daytime job, either something to just keep money coming into your system, because trust me, if money is not coming, then your passion might become a frustration. So it's always key to always look for something to fuel your passion while your passion is growing, to get you to a place where it can profit you.
So initially using like your passion as a side hustle, and
Yeah,
then eventually growing into
would be the side hustle to start with, and then eventually your passion becomes the main thing, and then your main thing might just turn out to be your side hustle or your second
yeah, your second job. So the good thing about you is you are, first of all, you're so very humble and quite soft-spoken, and then I would always ask you, you know, do you shout? And
when
then you're like, only
when I'm angry.
So you were a big player in the creative space here in Port Harcourt. So what would you say your perception is about the creative space so far in the entertainment sector in Port Harcourt or in River State at large?
I think one of the key things, especially for River State, and one of the reasons why River State has really not opened up into entertainment, and why most of our people live here, is because the environment is not yet enabling for them to thrive. And you know, success comes with money, comes with influence, comes with a lot of things other than just the name. And you know, for now, the entertainment industry in Port Harcourt and the creatives are not really experiencing that to the fullest. And that's why most of our good hands leave us here, jackpot in quote. Maybe not really jackpot abroad yet, but out of the state. And they do well because, you know, one of the things that we lack here are systems and enabling environments. Enabling environments also means the finances that are needed to
access to grants, access to loans,
grants. These things are fundings that help businesses grow, because for you to even grow a business, you have to put money into it, and for you to put money into it, you have to have it somewhere stacked, or someone is giving it to you either to help you start up or to partner with you as a business, or some way or some form. Money has to be infused into a business to grow. Once the basics are done, because the basics are really important, you understand, for the business to now scale up.
The thing is, and the funny thing is, you know, River State primarily has always been a big player in the entertainment sector. I mean, look way back into our history, we had the Jim Rex Lawson, Hilda Dokubo, Mona Lisa Chinda, Rita Dominic. A lot of them stem from Sam Dede, Yibokoko, Basot Taria. And I remember even growing up, like, there used to be a Night of 1,000 Laughs.
Yeah.
We had those concerts, and a lot of people would show up to them. But now it's almost like a handful, you know. And then we're wondering what has happened so far. Like, why is there like a retrogression in that particular sector so far? And then you've mentioned one thing, finance, but then I don't think they still had enough the investment that they needed, you know, from the private sector or even the government to be able to help them do what they were doing. So what's different from then and now?
Okay, what's different from then and now is the era with which you mentioned. There were a lot of private sectors making investments here and there. There were a lot of brands, multinationals making investments here and there. And then the government was also doing their own part. But currently, government has really not done much. I don't know what reason or for what reason. And then private sector are beginning to look at the areas where they make the most profit. Because trust me, every business, they only throw money at what would yield returns. And so, you know, the industry still needs time to grow. It was actually in its stage of getting to its boom stage, but, you know, because of the fact that the environment was not sustained, you understand, in that stage, a lot of people were losing interest in trying to grow this industry, and they started going out. And trust me, every name that you've mentioned are thriving in Lagos.
Yes.
And that's because there's already an enabling environment and a system in Lagos that works. So
but
unfortunate.
In as much as it seems like that there's been a lull in the sector, but I mean, recently we have seen some creatives, you know, come out of Port Harcourt and really thrive on a national scale and almost global, if I dare say. I mean, we have Sabinus, we have Brain Jota, we have Sophia, and we have Mark Angel.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a number of people in the creative space, coming out now and giving face and visibility to Port Harcourt talent. So it's not totally dead. There's still some light in there. But I'd like to ask you, what would you say informs viability in this sector when it comes to like a region or a state? For example, in Lagos, it's thriving.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, right? But what would you say informs the viability of that particular sector, the entertainment and creative space?
Okay, let me give an example. A quick example would be a gated event. Now, for any investor that invests in a gated event, is always seeking for some sort of returns, either via the gate fees or indirectly, maybe by patronage from the people that attended and all that. So these are part of the things that are being considered. Now, over time, if you look at attendance to events in Port Harcourt, it has not been attended in mass like it used to before. People are just warming up. Like, take for example the Bole Festival. The most recent Bole Festival was more or less like a huge success. In fact, it actually
was amazing.
Yes, it made history to say, because it's like one of the biggest gatherings so far for them as Bole Festival, and then for River State, like an independent organization, well, with the backup of brands and all that, but independently owned and all that, making such mark in the entertainment industry. So it's something that, if you look at it, we need more events like that to now give investors and government the courage to now say, okay, this
is viable.
Entertainment industry is still viable. Let's put in funds, because funds is the main thing because prior to any event, there has to be funds available to make a lot of things work. Because a lot of things need to be put in place. You understand? So, and if these things are not available, it's really hard for the industry to really thrive.
And I like that you made mention of Bole Festival, because it was their 7th edition that they did the other time that was really massive, Cheaper Cash and all of that. Those brands sponsored, and I did really much love the turnout. But the funny thing is, 5 years into them hosting Bole Festival, they didn't really get much investors, to come in to say, we believe in this brand, we believe in what you're about to do, we know that we'll get returns out of it. But still, there's still, for example, in Lagos, there's still investors that would say, okay, seed round, let's say, okay, you want to do this event, this is what you're projecting and all that. We are going to give you a certain percentage, let's see what you can do with this. So why doesn't that happen here? Because most of the time, I've heard from a lot of creatives as well, they have these fantastic ideas, that they talk to me about and all of that. And I'm like, why are we not able to get these proposals to certain private investors that can be able to look into it and see how viable it is over time and put in money? But elsewhere, they will do that. Is it like we have a particular bias when it comes to our own? We don't believe in our talent. We don't believe in the work that we are to put out.
I don't really think it's in that light. I think the case here is the fact that businesses are businesses because they in turn want to make profit. That's like an undertone. No matter what they tell you, they want to make profit, and they don't just want to throw money without any form of returns in any way. So if they're not seeing the kind of returns that they expect to see, either by popularity or by their brand getting in front of people and getting visibility, they really will not invest. Now, these events and these creative sectors that we've mentioned in the course of our discussion need time to grow. It's like the planting stage. You can't expect a mango tree to give or bear fruits in the first few months or in the first few years. It needs to grow its roots and then So for every tree, it has its own time where it has its own full cycle where it starts bringing out fruit. So for the entertainment sector, now the comedy is on one side, the movie is on one side, the music is on one side. They all have their different timings and different timings for different ways how it works. Now, in the old days, take for example, let me pin it now on music because I used to have a recording studio. Now, if you pin it on music, there was a time where if you wanted to blow, you had to first go to Alaba. You had to first look for a marketer and all that. But right now, you just have to put your music online on a streaming platform and you're good. You understand? As long as you have good music and you promote your music to a certain degree, the tide can change for you at any time. Take, for example, the Ogoni song that just blew up from nowhere. It started as a mockery, but in the end,
he even just put out the video.
Publicity, good or bad, and it ended up working out for him. So, you know, in turn, what we're saying is people need visibility to grow. So if the government and if the private sector can say, okay, let's support our own, let's see how we can put our talents to the forefront and let people see our talent and see what's coming out of Port Harcourt. Trust me, the sky is just the starting point.
I like that. I like that. If visibility.
Yes.
I mean, that's where our bloggers and even vloggers come in as well.
Yes.
You know, the way that they market River State, the way that they market our talents, you know, really does matter. So we'll get right into this discussion. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Thav Media give life to your dreams. Thav Media, a slice of infotainment. Welcome
back. So before we went on the short break, well, we were talking about, you know, visibility when it comes to our creatives and, you know, the entertainment sector here in River State. And I specifically mentioned that's where our bloggers and vloggers come in. Yeah. I mean, enough of bole. I love bole. I would eat it every day if not for the calories. but yeah, I mean, so we need to do more beyond bole, beyond, you know, trending Port Harcourt. We need to do more to showcase our talents, our local musical artists, you know, what they have. We need to do more. And I think that's where partnership and collaborations come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something we as a creative community need to thrive on. We need to create that space, that hub, where we can be able to work with ourselves, you know, first for visibility, then profit. So for you now, what informs who you partner with? Because I'm sure people come to you and say, oh, please, you know, help us cover our show, help us cover our event, and, you know, we'll give you like maybe a stake, but we don't have the money to pay you and all that. So how do you vet what partnerships that you come into?
I won't really say vet, but I'll say the truth is there are vibes that go alongside when people come to you. Now the truth still remains that when people come to you and they offer you partnerships and all, you as a business, you already have your mission and vision and you know where you want to head to. Now if partnering with that person is not taking you in that direction faster, or is not taking you in that direction quicker than you estimated, then you have to ensure that you get your due payments for what it is. Now, there are partnerships where you look at the partnership and you tell, oh, okay, this is going to open XYZ doors. So yes, we can partner, we can give you some rebates with the cost to what we do normally for X and Y and Z and all that. So I think everything starts and ends with, is it right for your business at that time and possibly in the nearest future? And if it's not right for the business, business is business, you take what is due you. But if it's going to help you in some form, you can make some concession and everybody
Every year, do you, okay, for the sake of visibility and pushing the creative community, do you usually, like with your company, say a certain percentage will go off for certain brands that are not yet top tier, but we need to be able to give these people a platform to be able to thrive, via our services in any way?
We actually do. And both for corporate and both for entertainment and everything. We actually do. We have a quota which we always keep aside where we know, okay, this is as much as we can do in this time frame. And then when we're exhausted, we're exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're exhausted, because money still needs to be made.
Bills need to be paid.
Okay, so I'm curious, what's your creative process like?
Okay, I think before you start talking about your creative process, like we talked about earlier, you have to first of all know how to use your tools, because the tools that helps you get the job done, you need to be familiar with the tools. You need to be familiar with everything as concerning your industry first. Now, when you're familiar with the tools and the trade, then the creative process comes in trying to understand, okay, how can I approach this differently? Because for every project, you need to infuse some uniqueness and some individuality into it. You understand? You only can be better every time you try to do something a step higher than you did it before. Not like any other person did it, what you did before.
Always getting better.
Yes, just try to always improve on your service, add something new, add something that the client was not expecting.
Think different?
Yeah, and just think different, think out of the box, out of your box particularly. So I think that's how it works. So in the end, what it does for you, it just opens your mind to be able to now see possibilities in things that a lot of people don't see possible. Sky is the limit.
Yeah. Jackpot movement. This has, I don't have to say this has come to stay, because I'm sure that in your space, in your circle, you probably know up to 10 people, 10 talents that have chosen to leave the country.
Yeah.
And most times you can't blame them.
Yeah.
I mean, economic recession, inflation, it seems like the country has been on a lull for a long time.
Yeah.
So people are just taking that opportunity to say, you know what, if I can move, I'm moving. And then right now, I think we have 2 more states added to Nigeria, unofficially UK and Canada, the extensions of Nigeria. But honestly, what you have to say about that? Because I personally think that if you have a skill set that you're working with here in Nigeria and you're making some money out of it, I think that I would always tell people, stay with it, stay at it, grow at it, and rightfully network and see how you can leverage off of what you have, rather than go to a foreign land and you start off with some menial job. And yes, you will make some money, but at the end of the day, your purpose, your craft, your skill is plateauing, so to speak. So what's your own thought about that? What's your perspective on this whole? And for those of you out there, Jackpot movement is basically immigration. We're migrating from Nigeria elsewhere, maybe coming toward you in Australia or Sweden. So what do you think about that?
Okay, I think the real reason why people are leaving Nigeria at the alarming rate.
Alarming.
It's alarming because before we used to know like maybe 1 in 100. Now we know 1 in 10, and I can't guarantee that it's going to get better anytime really soon. But the truth is the economy is really taking a nosedive, and the reason why the economy is taking a nosedive because, well, the dollar and the naira, they're not really having a fair playing ground right now. So people are looking for greener pastures, and they
is it
just
really green?
Well,
it might
the
be
grass is always greener
when you get there,
when you are not on the side of the fence where the grass is. But truth still remains that before Canada, America, the UK, wherever you want to mention that people are migrating to right now currently, they are going there because they see those places as viable environments for them to thrive. And now, truth be said, those places have systems that work already. Like I was talking extensively with a friend of mine that left for the country, US in particular. He was telling me that, see, truthfully, if you come here with some form of skill, you can make it. But if you don't come with anything, you really might not be able to make it. Now, make it in the sense is go outside the normal hand-to-mouth, 9 to 5 kind of job, because in the end, tax is one thing that is really heavily done there. You understand? Here, you can have tax rebates and you can have all those kind of breaks and all that, but there they take those things really serious, and that is what has grown their economy to where it is right now. Now, if you come back to Nigeria and if you look at it, a lot of Nigerians are leaving because they feel currently the economy is not going. Fuel is increasing every day. We don't even know if it's going to exceed 240 tomorrow, because right now it's at 240 naira to a liter. So these things are what informs people's decision to move, because they looked at the trend. They looked at, oh, okay, a few years ago, it was at this rate. Today is at this rate. Is there any guarantee it's going to get better? It's looking like a nosedive. So everybody's trying to leave. Now, I gave a good example. There's a cinema lens set I bought for $2,000 just 3-4 years ago. Now, that same cinema lens set is still the same $2,000 on Amazon, but it was less than 500k when I bought it. Right now, it's a little above 1.5. So it's crazy when you look at the same thing, the same price. It hasn't changed in the market where you are trying to get it from. And these are tools that are needed for the trade. Now, it makes it a bit more difficult, and it increases the bar and the level to entry for new cinematographers and new people getting into the industry, because now, whatever you would have saved in Naira to get into the industry, you have to save times 2, times 3 to get in.
Yeah.
So, that's why I say grants and loans and all these private investors need to get in, because this is like the only way where you can actually encourage the creatives, because in the end, you have to, first of all, look for the people that are doing well, that have gotten the basics right. Now they want to expand. You understand? So the enabling environment just means funding something to get them from ground zero and up on their feet.
Well, you're still here, though.
I'm a full-fledged Nigerian.
Yeah,
I love Nigeria to the core.
Even though we shift fuel price to 350 naira tomorrow,
We'll
still
be here.
full
We'll be here. I believe things will get better soon.
All right, so one of the major things that you said, the reason a number of people, a number of Nigerians are jackpine and migrating to other countries is an enabling environment that will help them thrive, in their field. So I would like to ask you, still though, before I get into my question, still though, with the whole Jackpot movement, there's still people that are thriving in their chosen fields in Nigeria and still earning in foreign currency while here at the same time. But going into this crop of people that are still thriving, what do you think are top 3 qualities, that a creative should imbibe in order to thrive? And not sink in these times? Because I don't think these times are here to stay, though. I'm really hopeful that come 2023, there will be positive light for us Nigerians. I'm really hopeful. But what core qualities do you think that creatives should imbibe to be able to thrive, regardless?
I think, first of all, you need to know what you're doing. And you need to be good at what you're doing. Very important. Because for you to thrive in any industry, you need to be good to the point where you can't be ignored, good to the point where you are noticed. That's one. Then the next thing is you need tenacity. In any environment, whether it's in Nigeria where the environment is not enabling, or outside the country where it seemingly is enabling, you need tenacity, because for anything to grow, it needs time to grow. And then the next thing would be just networking. No man is an island, whether it's people from your industry, people from another industry, network, because who knows, today you might find someone that needs my service, and because I networked with you, you'd remember, oh, okay, John does this, you understand? Reach out to John. I think I can vouch for him. He's good at what he does, you understand? So these are things that are needed for any creative to thrive.
So an introvert may not be able to thrive because, most of them they're not in the social scene, they're not in the social space, they don't want to even talk to people, they don't want to network.
At that point, their work might just speak for them.
Speak for them, right?
Yes.
It's not a time to be close-mouthed about what you do.
Not at all.
Not a time to be isolated.
Yes.
You know. So, what are your projections for the creative and entertainment space here in River State? What do you think it will be like in the next 5 years to come?
Okay. One of the things that I believe would happen would be, especially with this election season coming, we all believe that things will change. It's going to start a new leaf for Nigeria. That's what we all believe. But irrespective or irregardless of how the elections go, I still believe that in the next 4 or 5 years, you understand, things would become better. And why I believe things will become better is, if you look at Nigerians were a bit more passive a few years ago.
Yes.
Now the 2020 EndSARS movement just makes you understand that Nigerians are ready to take their life to the next step. And they are ready to take the bull by the horn. So the next 5 years might even be far. I might say the next 3 years, because it would start, because it has already started. If you look at the political scene right now, a lot of people have chosen their own candidates. I don't want to mention any name, I don't want to mention any party, but everybody has chosen their own candidates, and they chose their candidate based on their track record and what they think they've done, and then what they believe they can do. And you know, nobody really knows what's going to happen eventually. We might elect one person and the person turns out to be somebody else.
Hopefully not.
That's how the current government turned out to be. Nobody. I know someone that was a core fan of the current government, and he has changed ship. And he changed ship because I think the government failed him personally. So, you know, nobody can tell what someone would do when they get into office, but we can only hope and pray and wish and believe that what we saw before electing them is what is going to play out. But I can see Nigeria getting better.
I'm also saying that because I really would not want to jackpot.
No, there's no jackpot in my diary for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, what are we looking forward to with Pixelate Studios?
We're looking forward to documentaries mainly, because there are a couple of documentaries that we have lined up for 2023. So documentaries mainly. We're also in partnership with the Seki Foundation, and we're also working closely with Mr. Ibokoko, and there's a lot that is going to come out of it.
So we're looking at a lot of amazing projects coming up out of River State. I'm excited about that, and definitely I better be in one of those projects.
Yeah, definitely.
Networking right now.
You'll be called upon in due season.
Thank you so much, John. Yes. This has been an absolutely insightful conversation with you.
Thank you.
I love that you're here, and I hope that I'll see you here some other time after you've started doing all these amazing projects. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, our viewers, for watching Thav Exclusive today. And I hope that this interview actually does inform you rightly to do the needful. Thank you so much for watching, and I remain your host, Natasha. Bye for now.